Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast that called True Name Nemesis. Brainstorm Brewery.
Wait, Corbin, did you actually listen to that episode?
Define listen.
Did you listen to the episode?
Yeah.
I read the Discord chat that said that Ed called it. I saw the YouTube comment.
So no.
Look, man. If I was free enough to listen to the podcast, I would have been free enough.
You have time. You travel.
Ed made one of the, because
he
travel
for a living.
Yeah, you don't have time to listen to the podcast when you're laid over and stuff. Anyway, yeah, Ed made one of these. He's like, I can make this crazy bet, and I was like, you'll look like a genius if you're right, and everyone will forget what you said if you're wrong. So you just make those crazy calls, and I think I was responding to the fact that I didn't bet any money on the Vegas Golden Knights to win the Stanley Cup when I could have. And I could be getting like a $50,000 payout like KYT.
Well, yeah,
it's Monday when we're recording. KYT. Yeah, it's Monday. Vegas just won game 1, 6-4. Starting to look like it could happen.
His odds are now above 50%.
Yeah, that's true.
That's insane.
Right, Speaking of bets, Corbin owes me Fogo once we get to Vegas in a couple months.
Ooh?
In a month, you mean? Or like 3 weeks or something?
Sure,
it's
whatever.
It's
even better.
Anyways, in case you guys missed it, we have a new guest this week. Besides DJ, we brought Ryan back this week.
He's never been on the podcast before. Give him a
yeah,
Ryan's not a guest, he's a host.
Yeah, new guest, huh?
Yeah, you caught that. All right. I teased it in the Discord this week. That's why I said it like that. Because I didn't want to give it away in Discord. So I was like, hey, everybody, I've got a new guest coming on this week I want your opinion on. Surprise, it's Ryan. Not a guest.
Want my
but
opinion
Ryan's back.
On. Take that, Discord server. And when Corbin says Discord, he's referring to the people that give us $1 a month at patreon.com/Brainstorm Brewery to have access to our Discord server where we talk about stuff that we won't talk about on the podcast.
Jason, you got the URL correct this time, guys.
Jason, when you said we only had one meme, you were wrong. We do have that one meme of Corbin's face after he got thrown up by his kid.
Oh, that one's pretty good, actually.
That's the best meme.
Why isn't there a meme of like Jason just giving that whole shill spiel there that he does on every podcast?
That's all episode 300 is going to be.
I'm not shilling. You can't.
You can't shill your own company?
You can't shill your own company to your own company.
I don't.
You're shilling it to people that are...
Okay, a shill
what is multi-level marketing then?
Yeah, exactly.
Look, man, I'm just letting the people know that if we get $100 more to our Discord or our Patreon at patreon.com/Brainstorm Brewery, and we hit that $1,500 a month goal, we will do the one chip challenge, and you get to see DJ eat a really hot chip and cry.
He is going to cry.
Well, if we get 100 people to get $100, and then they get their friends to give us $100, and then they get their friends to give us...
And we do that 13 times, that's more people than are on the planet.
I thought it was only like... I didn't even think it was 13. Is 13?
No, if it's 5 people. If 5 people get 5 friends and so on, you can only do 14
right,
iterations.
Yeah, so 10
before
is
you run
only
out of people.
10 is only like 7, right?
Yes?
Yeah.
Seems
well,
like
10 to the 7th power, that's 7 billion.
7, yeah.
No, it's a 7 with 10 zeros. So yeah, that's more people than are on the planet.
Math is hard.
Math is hard. So yeah, just do that. If we get 100 people to give us $1, we can make DJ eat a really hot chip. But if you want to give us more than $1 because you have access to some of the stuff, like at $20, you get a couple of these handsome drinking glasses.
Why don't we give away something sweet? Like I'll sweeten the pot.
Oh God, here we go.
No, seriously, get it. We get up to 1,800, and
Jesus,
I'll come back. I'll come back on the podcast once a month.
Oh wow. Well, thanks for locking in.
That should be like a penalty for us going back to 1,100.
I can hear our Patreon dropping now.
Yeah, right. People are unsubscribing at an alarming rate.
All right, if we drop under 1,000, Ryan's back every other week. Book it.
If we get over 3,000,
don't say that. You'll see
Corbin's
the
gone.
quickest fall you've ever seen. Wait, or do you think that's going to keep the number above 1,000? Like if it drops to $9.99, people are just going to like sign up a second account so they can, I guess you can just donate more. Never mind.
You're going to make a second account for $1 instead of just
You need 2 logins to Discord. That's what it is.
Yeah,
somebody really wants to cheat the system and get extra glasses.
Oh man, if you want to make things that, like people think like a buyout's happening, you get like 12 accounts in there going, I just bought a bunch too.
Yeah, that's how they're gonna beat the multi-level marketing scam that is Brainstorm Brewery.
Just wait till this company goes public and people can buy shares.
Oh,
you guys have really just railroaded my pitch here.
No, I thought it was a great pitch, man.
Anyway, we got mats for people, we got tokens for people. I think the best value is the early access to the spreadsheet that you can see our picks of the week and our breaking bulk picks on Monday, and the cast doesn't come out till Friday, so you guys have real early access to that, and you can see what our thought process is, and if you want to make some moves, you're making moves 4 days before anybody else, so I think that's good value. So go to patreon.com/brainstorm brewery. Give us as little as $1 a month, which is like 20 or 25 cents an episode. It's nothing. It's a gumball. But with that, you could have access to the Discord server, and you don't eat gumballs?
I mean,
my God. No, don't derail on gumballs. What's the amount we have to like donate to get it so that you keep this to 30 seconds or under on each cast?
$2,000 a month.
Don't say that.
There you go. Put that one
If
on.
it gets to $2,000 a month, I will pre-record a Patreon pitch, and I will tell you where in the episode so you can skip it. How about that?
What
There
I
you
love
go.
is that, like, several months ago, you just made a joke about how some jackass in the YouTube comments is going to put where the Patreon pitch is, and every single week since then, some kind soul.
No, it's the same
It's
guy.
the same guy.
Yeah.
It's always the
Well,
same
I'm aware
guy.
of that. They say it every single week. They tag where in the episode the Patreon pitch is. And I just want to give a shout out to them because that is hilarious. And they've just kept it up with no recognition. They're just the long troll here. It's
Then
great.
why are you
Great work.
recognizing
No,
it?
that's
Because
not a
I think
long
it's
troll.
awesome.
No, that
People
is
like
the
the
that is
Patreon
the
pitch,
same
man. They like
person.
it.
That is the same person who goes into the BuzzFeed article and takes the one thing I care about that I saw in that window and posts it in the first comment. Like that person is a hero. He
that's
might
what
be
I'm
the
saying.
villain
I
to
just
you,
really
but
appreciate.
that
I
guy's
just
a
really
hero.
He links
appreciate
it
that.
so you can click on the link and go straight to the Patreon pitch because that's the money shot.
Right.
That's what people want to hear. They want to hear the Patreon
Yep.
pitch because they want to know how much they can give us at patreon.com/brainstorm brewery to have access to.
They're just doing
the Discord
JJ's
server,
work for
the
'em.
spreadsheet. Yeah, well,
Jason, I think
Dude,
people
when we
want to
get-
hear about Battle Bond.
Yeah, when we get to
People-
episode 300 and JJ has to link together all the different pitches and Jason not knowing the URL, it's going to be so handy because somebody's been linking it every single week.
Nah, the long troll would be as if like the day before or like a couple weeks before he records that he goes through and deletes all those comments.
Yeah, that would be kind of messed up.
Listen,
Anyways,
if you
Screenshot
want
them,
to
JJ.
support us for free, go to YouTube and you can see where the Patreon pitch is clearly demarcated, and you can like and subscribe and do all this stuff. Just support us, like our Facebook page. We're doing a giveaway if we get a certain amount of likes on the Facebook page.
By the way, we have hit the giveaway amount for YouTube, and I'm going to make that happen this week.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna do a giveaway then.
We're going to do another giveaway
a
when I
random
think we get to
subscriber.
2K subscribers. But yes, we have hit the giveaway, and I'm going to announce it next week on the show. I have several boxes at my house slated for giveaways, so we'll actually probably let the winner pick what they want here.
Do you want the box of Born of the Gods that's been in my house? Collecting dust.
I guess some box of
Yeah.
Iconic I'm willing to pitch in at some
Ooh,
point.
foil
Yeah.
Keranos.
I've got Iconic, Eternal. I got Ixalan if anyone wants that.
I might give away
I got
an
some
oversized
still
card,
product. We
actually.
could
I
give
got
away
some
an
of those
FTV
things.
Annihilation. As you can
Oh,
see in the
yeah,
video.
there you go. If
behind
that's
me.
what we're doing, I got all kinds of FTVs sitting around here.
I mean,
Yeah,
don't
man.
just give away magic cards. Give away unique shit. Like, I'll give away one of those oversized cards. I got some sweet ones.
I will
Did you
sign
say
a
don't give away
photograph
magic
of my
cards?
headshot.
I'll
Don't
give
give away
away an
magic cards.
oversized magic
So,
card.
Don't give away magic cards to
Just
magic
give away a
finance
magic card.
people.
Give away a
They're
bigger
just gonna
magic
Oh,
card.
really?
No,
Big
they're just gonna
magic
sell
card.
it because it's like that's not a thing that they're gonna keep. Like, if you give someone like a box, they're gonna bust it and take the value. Like, that's not a good
That's
giveaway
fine.
prize. Yeah, that's not
It's a
good
free
giveaway
box. They'll
prize.
draft it with their friends.
Give them something that like they can keep.
Give them
and-
something useless,
Yeah, exactly.
like a really big magic card.
They're awesome. They make fantastic.
They are
art.
awesome. I would take a really big magic card and I wouldn't complain and say that was useless. So
Yeah, they're cool.
what happened? Who'd hurt you, Corbin?
I'm just jealous because I don't have a really big magic card.
A light
got
pole,
9 of
his
them.
own
Do you want one?
ankle.
Hey, come on, man.
Who hurt you? A light pole.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to the guy who sold me the Liliana Last Hope on Twitter too. I really appreciate that. He
What
gave me
is
a good
this?
deal.
What are these Twitter shout-outs?
No, I
Get
don't.
outta here.
I don't.
This is why we kicked you off the fucking podcast.
Shout
Ryan.
out to the guy who followed me on Twitter yesterday. Woo!
You just.
This is
no, he
reverse.
followed
You're
me a-
supposed to have people
a while
shout
ago.
you out on Twitter because they paid you for a magic card and you mailed it to them.
What?
Come on.
Hey, it's not my fault that nobody shouts you out on Twitter after you sell Magic cards to them, Jason.
People are gonna think I don't sell cards.
People
I
don't.
started telling
I don't
people, I'm
think
like,
you
I'm
do.
not gonna. That's what everyone says.
What's the
Hey,
last
I
Magic
listened
card
to-
you sold?
What's the last Magic card I sold?
Like when? How long ago?
Oh, I sold a Rekindling Phoenix this week.
Okay,
So, and it's only Monday.
that's fair.
It is only Monday. Oh man! All right, so let's talk about Battle Bond this week. I was actually pretty meh about this set, kind of like I have been about Conspiracy over the past few years. But you know what? This set looks kind of impressive, and I know Jason is pretty hype on it.
Oh, okay. So this hit the Jason alt trifecta. It's EDH two-headed giant finance.
Yeah,
This
it's
set
great.
couldn't be
Yeah, that's
more
true.
of what I wanted. Right?
That is
Super
true.
If this set had a beer, that's the only way I could like it more.
If they
had like
incorporated
a battle brew
the-
and you could like drink it before. Speaking of which, I'm definitely going to play the Battle Bond event with Joey D, and we are going to be battle brewed.
Yeah, if you could like
So.
Battle Bond Booze Cube together, that would be
Ooh.
the ultimate magic.
I'm drinking right now to practice for Battle Bond. I'm drinking this.
Is there a Booze Cube happening this year at Vegas? I'm not gonna be able
Yeah,
to.
Vegas?
Like, do
Oh
anything
yeah,
about it,
I'm
so.
sure.
Somebody at my
Shout out-
store has a booze cube, and they were like, "Have you ever heard
Is
of
it
it?
is
It's-
it the official Booze Cube?
I'm not entirely positive. I think it's so. Maybe. I think so.
There
Or at
can't
least
be
they've
like
taken
more than
cards
one,
from
right?
it.
There can't be that
Well,
many.
it's possible they've just changed the rules on own cards. I haven't seen it. They're just like, oh, I have a booze cube, and I think they probably had to. It has to be the official one, or at least with some cards from it, because otherwise you wouldn't even know to call it a booze cube, right? But it just like blew their mind when I was like, we designed a card. I designed a card for that, right? My podcast just like we made a card that's in the booze cube
Yeah.
forever ago.
Yeah, that was like year one. That was
That was
sub
like 5
episode
years
50.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
was
that was really long ago because it was for Vegas one, which
was
was
Vegas
5 years ago now.
Was that before Vegas one?
Yeah, it had to be because it was
Wow.
there for
Yeah.
Vegas one.
Well, this is year 6 of Vegas, right? Because they did year 1. There would have been like year 1, then year 3, then year 5, and then this is year 6.
Yeah, this
Correct.
is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
The
so
first
all-
one was like 2011
13.
or
It was,
2012.
no, the first one was
How long
2013
have we-
because it was Modern Masters.
How long have we been
yeah.
recording?
Yeah.
Was it maybe it was for the second Booze Cube? I think the Booze Cube was at Vegas one, but we designed a card for the second one.
Yeah, that might be true.
I think that's.
There's so many people listening to this episode right now who don't even know about Vegas 1 or the
I
Boost
just
Cube.
can't believe we've been recording that long. Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe it took us this long to think about getting paid for it, but hey. Thanks to all our patrons at patreon.com/Brainstorm Brewery. We squander all of your money. If you're like, are these guys pocketing my money? Absolutely not. We blow it on equipment and
Glasses,
sending out stuff.
tokens that artists won't finish for us.
Ooh.
oh,
Shots fired at unknown artists right there.
I just want to let you know that we aren't pocketing, we are squandering all of it as you would want us to.
I am active. I think I'm about to just like call in the big guns on a token here and just like reach out to like Noah Bradley. Like, bro,
I
how much
No,
money
no,
does it
no,
take?
it's honestly-
earlier.
Noah Bradley charges 5 times what
Yeah,
an
but-
equivalent artist would charge.
But he's
So-
the quality's
But
there
he's
though.
Noah Bradley.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah,
seen the
that was
sexy
good.
Noah Bradley playmat?
The Liliana Chandra
No,
one?
No. It's just
The
it's
Noah
him.
Bradley on a
It is
beach
him.
playmat.
Oh, nice.
It's like the Kibler one, except with less clothing. I think.
Yes, correct.
Why don't you tell us in the comments on this video or in our Discord channel which artist you would like us to reach out to
Yeah.
for a token? Otherwise, I will reach out to Mark Poole, whom I know personally.
Well,
So-
yeah, it seems like the last round of artists we reached out to isn't really working out.
We
so
actually
already
tried
have
to. I actually tried.
Yeah.
Well, one of them is very busy, and the other one is incommunicado. He may be dead,
So we're gonna
feel real bad if we're like, this dick didn't even design our card, and like he's bleeding to death in a bear trap in the woods somewhere. I'm gonna feel real bad.
Jesus.
That's what happens to
Right.
all artists when they stop communicating with you. They're just in bear traps in the woods.
Yep.
Well, yeah, he could be. All right,
All right.
do you
on
know
that
his
note,
life? Do you know he's not in a bear trap?
On that low, let's talk about
how do you
battle
think he
bonds.
paints such realistic forescapes? It's because he does the research. He does.
Man,
the due
John
diligence.
Avon must live in the woods or on an island or something. Then, man,
In the future,
Hey, man.
like a place
in,
where they
in a
have,
bog.
I don't think John Avon has the same verisimilitude as our artist who's currently bleeding to death. So
Okay, good point. Good point. All right, let's talk Battle Bond here. So what we're gonna do this week is sort of a set
different
review.
set review format than we've ever done before, just like every time.
Wait, we're doing it
Well, it's not
different
even
now.
it's not even really a set review because essentially this set has a bunch of reprints and some cool stuff. But we're not just gonna bore you with a normal set review where we talk about.
It has fewer reprints than you think. I think.
It's
Especially on the financial end, like
I think
of the
they're all
reprints
green.
are-
I think every reprint is green.
there are a lot of green reprints.
A
yeah.
lot of the reprints though are
the
like
point is
not-
a lot of the reprints are going to go down in value and then go back up. So what we're going to do instead is have a normal episode here, but it's going to be Battle Bond themed. So on that note, let's do Breaking Bulk from Battle Bond.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh yeah, breaking bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
Who wants to go first?
Breaking
It's not much of a game because we all just sort of
That's fine. It's not a game this week.
it sucks.
The game is trying to
it's DJ's
remember.
favorite thing, and then one episode it doesn't get to be his favorite thing. You know what? I'll go first. I like Unflinching Courage. That's a card that you're just going to find in Draft Chaff. It's going to be like worth next to nothing. I think that probably improves a little bit. That's a card people like to play. Casuals love cards like that. It goes in, a non-zero amount of Ural the Miststalker and equivalent Voltron decks. A lot of green-white creatures are hexproof, and they like to have Unflinching Courage go on them. Core Spirit Dancer's also in the set. So I like Unflinching Courage.
That's a good reprint.
Yeah, it's a great reprint. The set's amazing. So I like Unflinching Courage as a card that's just going to be free, essentially, and it's going to be worth money in a year. So fill up a big old box with free Unflinching Courages that you find just abandoned on draft tables, and you'll thank me later.
Yeah, the thing with all these Breaking Bulk picks is that right when a set comes out like this, you basically see nothing. The prices on them are pretty low after the first 2 weeks. They don't really show up on buy lists because the vendors are just kind of rolling in the product they opened. But like we've talked about before, a year from now, these Battle Bond reprints are actually going to be worth more than the original set reprints. I know specifically we buy lists of Card Kingdom a lot, and they always have higher prices on whether it's a dual deck or a plane chase or even Conspiracy sometimes. Then end up being worth more. So that's something to keep in mind is these are, it's not really a pick of the week and that you want to hold them, but you pick these, but you don't want to necessarily flip them next week. You just kind of want to be grabbing them all and then have them, in 6 months or a year when the buy list starts to creep back on these.
Don't bulk them out. That's what we're saying. We're saying this is going to be worth more than bulk, but it will be worth bulk for a while. And don't bulk them when they're worth bulk because they will be worth more later.
Yep.
Unlike true bulk, which will not. That's
All right.
the whole point of breaking bulk.
It's true. All right.
Well, DJ uses it to find cards that everyone thinks are worth a nickel that he can buy list for 85 cents because he's a wizard. And that's why he likes this
Really?
segment so much.
Because I thought it was more like DJ trying to find cards that are worth a nickel that he can sometimes buy list for a nickel.
Well,
And then telling everyone he's a millionaire.
I can do
that's
both.
true. He finds a nickel card that he can flip for 85, and that's his pick of the week. Good call.
Yep. I am a wizard. I'm wearing a Jason Mind Sculptor shirt today.
Oh my god.
That is the lamest thing you could do.
You're a nerd.
How did a woman marry you?
All right, I'm gonna go next before we get into that. All right, I'm gonna come in here with a card that's actually been reprinted a bunch, but it turns out pretty busted. And every reprint of the card's worth more than $1. The original's cheap. Impulse. So Impulse was in Visions forever ago. It's actually 70 cents, but every version since then, dual decks from the vault, I guess doesn't count, but dual decks, beatdown, even whatever. Every version of this card is basically $1 or more. So Impulse in Battle Bond is going to be a pretty good one to pick up, and I believe it is a common in the set.
Do you know
should be
why
plenty.
this version of Impulse will be preferable to other versions?
Well, I'd have to look at the others, but I'm guessing it's either art or because it's the only one in the new frame.
No, it's the only impulse that has the errata text where they remove shuffle your library.
Oh.
Impulse used to say shuffle your library. It's been errated to not shuffle your library. So, yeah, it's one of those cards that has, like, Oracle text with, like, no, we're going to fundamentally change how the card works with some errata. So all the old versions of
From
Impulse...
the Vault one doesn't say that either.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right here. Neither does
There's a From the Vault version?
Neither does it.
Ah, well, shit.
I know that because I bought a...
Yeah, I forgot about that. But again, this
dual deck Speedverse
isn't a shitty FTV foil, and it has the correct text.
Also,
so
dual deck. Corbin's right.
Dual deck
probably would be
Speedverse
preferable to the Visions version or whatever.
Dual deck Speedverse Cunning. Same thing.
Oh, well, geez. Well, fuck it, then.
Good effort.
I thought I knew some things.
Well, for what it's worth...
I did know a thing you didn't. I just didn't know 3 things you did, so
yeah,
I still contributed.
Agreed. The Impulse from the dual deck one's actually kind of gone up this year, right? Just it's basically gone from 60-70 cents over to almost $1.50. So there was actually some movement on this card even before this reprint. So it's a good.
But anyway, I think the impulses with the correct Oracle text are preferable to the older version.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, DJ.
Mine is Beast Within. Because that card has more printings than you think. How many printings do you think Beast Within has?
6.
7.
Yep. 7.
We said 2 numbers. Okay, 7. I almost said 7.
But like
I was about to say 8.
Most people think 2 or 3 because they're like, oh, it was Conspiracy and New Phyrexia and now this.
It's in Heroes versus Monsters.
It was in Knights versus Dragons.
It was in a billion things. And
it's in Heroes versus Monsters. It's in Plane Chases.
Plane Chase Anthology. Yeah, like the card's got got a lot of printings.
Although for what it's worth, the only ones there that basically matter are the outside of the original New Phyrexia, and New Phyrexia was obviously pretty low print run compared to today and how long it was open. But basically just the Conspiracy one, right? Like all these other sets, Commander is just one copy of it. Dual Decks is a dual deck. Those are stupid anyways.
The Conspiracy
and then
one
Chase,
had a similar problem of like it being a summer set that had to compete with a bunch of other things, and it's a draft matters format, so like boxes of that and this aren't going to be opened as much as something like Kaladesh, and so like that's where you're going to see some of the price increases from, is that this just can't be opened en masse by like so many vendors just because a lot of it's just going to sit on tape. Like, it's a good set and it has good reprints in it, and people are going to open boxes for EDH and stuff, but you still just won't see that raw demand from like a standard legal set.
Right, and for what it's worth,
I don't like this art. I wish they would go back to the original art.
Yeah, me too.
They've been using this new art since what? Since the Heroes versus Monsters, maybe?
Yeah, that was the first time they used it.
And it's garbage.
Yeah,
I like the old art much better.
It's also worth noting, even the Conspiracy one was under $1 after it got printed, and is now up to almost $1.50. It's almost $2 on the mid $1.50 market. So that does show that there is some nice demand to the card even after the reprints.
Here's another thing to think about. It's had all those printings, but it's only been imprinted in foil. This is the 3rd time.
That's also true.
Because the booster pack ones were the only ones where New Phyrexia Conspiracy in this.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right, Ryan, what do you got?
So I got 2. One is...
Oh my gosh.
Well, no, one is more actually the pick, and the other one's just kind of like honorable mention. So Huddle Up, it's a new card with assist. It is 2 in a blue, 2 target players.
It has assist?
Is 2 target players each draw a card.
Well, he's trying to goad you into saying what the mechanic does.
Another player can pay up to 2 of this.
It sounded like you said the card has assist, and they should get that looked at by a doctor.
Or a shitty joke, one or the other.
Fair.
Good
that's
effort,
fair.
DJ.
Can't it be both?
You should have known, DJ. I would have been the one to try to get him to goad him into saying what the card does, and Jason was making a shitty joke.
If you don't know what assist does by now, turn off the podcast and go read some Battlemon stuff.
Anyways, go ahead, Ryan.
But anyways, so like, I mean, it's not that the card itself is great, but any kind of tactics in that can be used in EDH to help you ally with people and stuff like that, I think are worth looking at, because there's always those decks that are group hug, stuff like that. They want these kind of effects, and I think that
Nekusar.
and I think that like this kind of effect it gets overlooked in the spoiler that you're going to find these in bulk. I'm not saying you pay anything on them, but I think you just kind of hold on to these for a hot minute, because it's not a card that's likely to ever be reprinted. And I think down the road you're going to see this kind of effect, like every time a new general comes out that says something about a player drawing a card or something like that, because you can target with this, there's a lot of versatility to it in different decks. So I would just hold on to them.
Yeah, I wish it was an instant.
So how does this
kind of surprise us on it?
Corbin, how does this work in terms of like, so if I have a bunch of mana open and then I ask you if you want to pay for it and then you just say no, am I forced to pay the full cost, or can I just choose
No, you can it actually rewinds and you don't have to play the spell. Gavin mentioned this. If someone reneges on actually paying the mana, you just rewind and you don't have to play the spell.
Yeah, the way casting a spell works is like announcing it is to put on the stack is kind of the first thing, and then paying costs is the thing. So yeah, I mean, maybe they had to kind of hack the rules to say, once you've put it on the stack, if players don't actually pay, then you're screwed or whatever. But that wouldn't really work anyways, because what if you just didn't have the mana to cast it? So yeah, I mean, it may kind of be a hacky thing with the rules, but it makes sense. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's just the way they're not going to punish people. Otherwise, you could be like, in EDH, you'd be like, yeah, I'll help you pay for that, and then exactly. You don't. And then the spell fizzles, they're not going to do that to people.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually really excited for the mechanic in general. I can definitely see them bringing it back in a commander set in the future. It's just really cool. There's a lot of cool effects on it, and I like
how Battle Bond has unique ED or 2HG effects that can be ported over to EDH
that scale perfectly to commander.
Yes, it's partner with assist. Yep. I love it.
Yeah, assist I think is going to be the like breakout of the set, because it's just so good in commander, especially on like. This card's cool, right? And this is a good breaking bulk pick, but like I'm really interested to see the wrath effects or the this effects or whatever.
Play of
right?
the game, yeah.
Yeah. That are really, really going to probably, I mean, we think, and sometimes we see things focused at commander that don't do anything, but I think that assist is going to sort of age well and integrate into the format very well.
I like friend or foe too. That seems like a conspiracy thing, but like it's utilized much better here because you'll have friends and foes in both Battle Bond and EDH.
Yeah, this is cool.
It's true. And then, so anyway, my honorable mention real quick is the basic lands. Now, this is kind of weird because you think, well, basic lands aren't really worth anything. But what you don't realize is, like, sets like Conspiracy and stuff didn't have basic lands in them. So, like, the print run of these sets, well, definitely not as limited as, like, a Master set, which also don't have basics in them. They're definitely not as opened as a Standard set either. And this set of basic lands is really cool and thematic. In any 5-color deck, it would look nice.
No, they look
There's
great.
only one of each art, so it makes it less difficult to go for. You don't have, it's not like there's 5 of each one, so it's
and they match
you can
up
put
really
together
nicely.
sets of the foils.
Like there's not a whole lot of lands out there that work together among the different types of lands, right? Like there's plenty of cycles that look good next to each other, like the Kamigawa lands. I love the islands personally because you can line up all the islands, and it makes that nice, gorgeous diorama. You don't really have that necessarily here, but the fact that they all thematically fit together really nicely, I think works well. And there's definitely going to be a non-zero number of people who like these lands. Like I would consider playing these if I was using a 5-color EDH deck.
Yeah. Also, for what it's worth, I've been doing a lot of buy listing of basic lands recently to Card Kingdom, and we all know about some of the really high dollar ones, but even once you get past that, there's actually a lot of basic lands in foil that end up being $1, $2 in the buy list for 50 cents to $1, and that really kind of adds up because they are obviously always going to be left in bulk. And if these Battle Bond lands have a low print run, they could definitely be, basic lands that fit that bill, a few years from now.
And if someone's trying to put together 25 of the islands in foil, even if there's only one art on each one, it's still going to be how many boxes are you going to need to buy to get 25 of that islands?
Right.
So.
Yeah. And I mean, is it confirmed that every set is coming with a land, or is it that you get a token or a land, or like how is this going to work? So we're not even sure yet that you're going to get a basic in every. It might be that you only get 5 basics per box.
I don't even know how the event works. I don't even know how the release for it works. I'm going to be at a concert this weekend.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm not going to have a chance to go myself. I'm taking this weekend off Magic personally, but so I mean, it's just stuff like that to think about. And the basics are something that's kind of low key in this set that we haven't really seen in this format before.
Yeah. All right. So on to the set review. So this isn't going to be too different. I mean, we're basically starting at the top of TCG player and price like we usually would. But the thing is, so many of the cards in this set are actually just reprints. So we're going to, more or less, like Doubling Season is the most expensive
Fewer
card.
than you think.
Sure. Okay, fair enough. In the cards that matter, maybe specifically. But But yeah, so like something like Doubling
we won't
Season.
spend as much time on something like Doubling Season, which is the first card we're going to discuss, because hey, we're going to talk about where we think it goes, how long until we think it rebounds, stuff like that. Or if we don't think a card's going to rebound, we'll say that. We don't have to spend 45 minutes talking about a Planeswalker that's $30.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about standard play
and still get it wrong.
Oh man, we
right,
gotta
so-
talk about Arena Rector though. This card is sweet.
We
Okay.
will. I mean,
hey,
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Doubling Season, $40 market price right now. This is clearly the Chase reprint of the set, and it's a good one, and it's new art, and all of that. So, all of that said, we've watched Doubling Season not just shrug off, but literally just laugh at reprints before and go up to ridiculous prices. So,
But that was a reprint in a $10 booster pack set. This is
No,
a $4
Modern Masters
booster
one
pack
was a
set.
$7 booster pack set.
Oh, okay. So
true. But
nearly
also
twice this.
Also, this is at Mythic. I don't remember if it was there or not.
It was rare.
It was there.
That's rare.
It was rare in
Yep.
Modern Masters?
Yep.
Correct.
Damn.
So how low is it going to go?
That
Like,
makes
I honestly
a big
don't
difference.
think.
It's
Can it
also,
go below 20?
It's also alternate art. All three of them are different arts.
That's also true.
And the Modern Masters art was the worst of the three.
This is the worst of the three.
I
You think
disagree.
so?
This one's gorgeous. This is gonna look.
And this is gonna look sexy
amazing
foil.
Yeah.
I like
It
the
will
original
look good
Ravnica one the
foil.
most.
I mean, it's okay.
Oh, yeah,
it's okay to
yeah.
be wrong. I mean, this is just, in my opinion, the best one.
I
think
think
this
this
is the
one is
best one?
cool because it's different.
I think the art is gorgeous. I don't think the art really matches the card. Like, this could be like XYZ Citadel.
Yeah,
and,
this,
and I would
this
literally
doesn't
like,
have anything
oh,
to do
no,
with
yeah,
Double
this is
Season.
gorgeous
Yeah,
art.
you're right.
So, but like as a piece of art, this is gorgeous.
No, I can agree with
I
that.
agree. Yeah. Well, it fits the whole theme for this set, which it's cool. I agree.
This looks
It's
like
maybe
the Doubling
misplaced, but-
Season masterpiece that never came out. She just
Yeah,
unfoiled
yeah,
it.
or like, or you know, like the Phyrexian, not Phyrexian Tower, but XYZ Tower. Like this could be Tower of the Magistrate masterpiece too, and
Yeah,
I
it could
wouldn't
be.
like bat an eye.
This
Like
just-
it's
yeah,
a
this
very
just looks like
generic
random-
art, but it
Yeah,
looks good.
the only reason it's
Yeah.
for Doubling Season, I think, is just because it's perfectly symmetrical. Maybe.
Well, and it could be something thematically too. Like we don't really know the lore behind this yet. Maybe there's.
I
Like,
bet this was a masterpiece. I bet that's what happened.
I wouldn't be surprised actually. It looks very masterpiece-ish.
All right, so it's $40 right now, market price pre-sale. I mean, I don't know that anyone would doubt you if you said it's going to be $50 a year from now, because the other ones just keep going up in price after reprints. But is it going to? What's it going to bottom out at in the month? Is it going to hit 20?
Fine.
No,
25.
it won't hit 20. I
25
can tell you.
either.
I don't think it hits
25?
25. I think it's
30?
honest bottom is 30. If it drops below 30, it will not be there for long because vendors will just
Yeah.
take them all. Like, well,
Yeah,
That's a good point.
I will
yeah.
take that card at $25. Like, I think that's my starting buy price in Vegas. Like, I'm not going to confirm that or anything, but like, that's. I think 25 is like the lowest I'll go on a buy price.
Yeah, I guess we should point out for people who don't know Ryan. Ryan works with a large vendor. He can name them if he wants.
Yeah, no,
Fine.
so that's fine. I'm the GM for 95 MTG, and I work behind the booth there. I mean, you may be seeing me. I'm the guy with the long hair in the back, sorting frantically.
He looks like a hippie.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I don't look.
That's how
anything
I
like
tell people
pictures
to
of me
find
online.
him. Whenever anyone comes up to me at a show and it's like, "Hey, I love the podcast," blah blah blah. Is Ryan here? I've heard the Ryan is DJ here. Is Jason?
I don't
blah,
say
blah,
he
blah." I'm
looks like a hippie.
I go
I say
find- so
yell
go find the
fire,
hippie.
and the only guy that stays in the booth is Ryan.
Yeah, I'm like, if it takes me, I'm fine. I'm not
messed
walking
up,
out of here.
man.
That's
That's
too much
messed up.
energy.
All right. Next up, Arena Rector. Now, yeah, this card is sick.
So do we make it clear that like you
You
go
buy
in for
all the
cash
doubling
at 25?
seasons in
Yeah,
a month,
because
yes.
it's a $50 card.
If it hits
that's gonna
25,
masquerade.
just buy them. It is about as safe as you can
Yeah.
get. Like Wizards would have to get real aggressive with this card to hurt it. This is like
Set it
the
for
But
card-
Anyway,
we've
Commanders.
already okay. Here's the thing. You remember how Corbin missed his Fogo bet talking about the price of the unstable basic
I
lands, thinking
definitely
unstable would
remember
be
that. Yep.
had the
Shut
shit
up.
printed out of it. I think that this will be similar to unstable in that I've heard a lot of dealers saying they are getting very heavily allocated. I think they're going to
Yes,
do
that's true.
multiple waves of this, and I think like
Wait,
we're not going to
did you say
satisfy.
this is going to be similar to unstable because that was the opposite.
But
No. He's
Unstable-
saying that it's going to sell
Unstable
out.
got heavily allocated.
Yeah. There was not a lot of unstable, and then they had to do.
And then there were like waves of it. I think they're going to do that with this. I think they're going to stagger the release because people are getting way less of this product than they expect. I don't know if the price will tank as much as maybe we think.
It depends on how enjoyable the limited format is and how accessible it is. Unstable, people were buying just to crack it randomly, which I didn't realize was a thing because I guess I wasn't like heavily dealing when the last Unset came out because it was so long ago at this point. This is a very different dynamic because, like, if it's not super playable or not super enjoyable to be played in the format it's meant for, like, people will buy boxes, but you're looking at, like, you don't have, like, a Leovold in this set. I know, like, Unstable didn't really have those chase cards, but you had the chase foil lands and, like, you know, obviously, like, Urza, the Headmaster and stuff foil.
Well, Conspiracy...
Here, like,
people drafted like once or twice, and they're like, "I'm over this drafting this."
Right. I think this will be better and more enjoyable because, like, 2HG Conspiracy, a lot of times it was like, "Oh, cool, one person on the table just had this stupid deck," or you know, two people teamed up against one person or whatever it may be. Like, this has a much more equal dynamic, and there's a lot of replayability in the multiplayer because of how many different like weird mechanics there are that involve like working with your teammates.
2v2 is much better than playing 4-player free-for-all with strangers.
4-player free-for-all was terrible. That's what I always said about Conspiracy. Drafting was fun and the gameplay was atrocious.
Because even if your teammate's bad, you can just like hold their hand through the experience.
All right, so
but yeah, so like, and I mean, this is Mythic too. So like, this being the top card, I have a tough time believing that even if you print the shit out of this set, and it sells like crazy, that it's really going to go that low. And even if it does, I mean, it's just more of a buying opportunity. If I buy these at 25 and they drop to 20 for a hot minute, I'm not sweating it.
Yep.
Then you just buy more at 20, and then your average cost is $22.50.
Yeah,
and then you still feel good when it hits 50.
All right. So next up, Arena Rector. When it 3 or 4 drop 1/2, when it dies, you can exile it, put a Planeswalker card into the battlefield.
I can get behind this. This is like the
$30.
functional. Yeah, it's the functional reprint of Academy Rector that doesn't violate the reserve list. I like it.
Right, and I can super get behind this because in Commander, which is where this is obviously like targeted towards, I mean, I guess possibility of hearing people argue Legacy, but like Commander.
What Planeswalker are you gonna go get in Legacy?
I mean, you'll get like Ugin or something, I guess.
It's
like,
Ugin or Karn.
Right, and I mean, even Nicol Bolas, like the new one, is pretty good. I can see that being a real card in Legacy, but you're jumping through so many hoops to make that work. I don't really think that that's necessarily applicable, and even if it is, it's going to be so niche that it's not really going to hold the price of this card. So you have to look at Commander. I think that most white Commander decks will just run a copy of this, because unlike Academy Rector, like, you don't always, like, even Academy Rector, I guess you pretty much always have a target. But, I mean, what decks don't play Planeswalkers unless they're absolutely, like, targeted towards...
Well, Academy Rector is only in, like, 6,000 decks on EDH Rec, but if you look at how many decks run Elspeth Sun's Champion, this could be just a second copy of Elspeth Sun's Champion.
Right.
Which is in 17,000 decks on EDH Rec.
And Academy Rector...
like, there's 2,000 Planeswalker decks, and this automatically goes in all of them, too.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, this is great in a lot of Super Friends builds. You're right about that.
Yeah, I mean, Academy... like every Atraxa deck wants one, right? You can.
I mean, Atraxa does a lot of different, wears a lot of different hats, but
I can never remember what color Atraxa is missing. Is it green?
It's red.
It's the red list.
Red. Okay. But so the other fun part too in Commander,
which is fine because what do you miss out on, Tybalt?
Yeah, I mean, sure. There's probably a couple of fine, like you can't play the Nicol Bolas, which kind of stinks, but
no, you can't play Deck Fade or
right. There's some misses, but I mean, the nice part too is White's very good at returning things from exile, which means that this is not necessarily a one and done either. There's certainly options for being able to like use this multiple times during a game, which is kind of disgusting.
Yep. Yeah, this card's gonna be sick. But all that said, it's $30 right now. How low does this go? I think it's not 30.
It's certainly not
gonna be much lower.
I don't know if it's gonna be much lower. I think this is a $15 to $20 card.
Yeah, I was gonna say 15.
All right, fair enough. I'm around there too.
For how many years?
A year.
Yeah.
A year, yeah. I mean, I think it's 20 again in a year. That's kind of where I'm at.
I don't think that this card's going to explode, but this is the kind of card that is just on the verge. Will always be on the verge of breaking out in Legacy if it doesn't do it immediately.
Right.
Somebody will do something with this card in Legacy, and then it could spike a year from now, 2 years from now, a month from now.
Yeah.
It's got that potential.
Because like Nick Fit is a deck that, for example, that has a lot of sack outlets in it.
It wasn't even that long ago that somebody made that one the Starfield of Nyx Legacy deck with the other Rector, and that caused a little bit of hype around Legacy because it was an existing Nick Fit shell, but it just like played Academy Rector and then like Debtor's Knell and Starfield and Mix and a couple of like Humility and some random garbage, and then that was like getting people all crazy. So like this could very
and
easily...
it didn't really hurt that Academy Rector was on the reserve list.
Sure.
Exactly,
I'm just saying this doesn't take this is one SCG Open top 8 from people getting real hyped about something.
Yep.
Right. I really hope it happens. Hold on. I hope it happens sooner rather than later, though, because cards like this, when you wait those 2 years and it spikes, that's when you start seeing the absurd prices, and that's unhealthy for the market. Like, if this sees at least a little play right off the bat and people see that it could be a thing, I think it'll be, better for the set because it's another seller for the set, but to divide the value amongst it, but also just healthier for the price overall.
Yeah, because it's gonna basically disappear within a year. Like,
well, there aren't those legacy events every weekend like there used to be, so I kind of think it's not super inclined to happen sooner rather than later, which means the copies get diffused. Right. If they're not worth buy listing right off the bat, I think they just sort of end up in trade binders, and then that's when you have the runs on them.
It certainly is a card you want when it hits 10 or 15 because it has that potential to spike big. Whereas something like Doubling Season, you know what it's going to do, but it may not just explode.
Right, it's unlikely to explode.
Right. All right, next up, Land Tax and True Name Nemesis. Both good reprints, both legacy playable. Around $20 right now, $18, $19.
But one of them is good in EDH and one of them is not.
Both are overpriced. Like, I hate saying it about True Name. Like, I feel like True Name is still good enough to hold, but I think as much as they're going to allocate to this, I have a tough time seeing it even hold this 17, 18. I think
these are both 10 to 15.
I was going to say 10.
Like,
I think
Land Tax recovers better than True Name Nemesis.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
I actually don't know if I agree with that. I think that we see $8 to $10 land taxes and $10 to $12 True Names.
I realize that True Name goes out 3 or 4 ofs in Legacy, but Land Tax is in 20,000 EDH decks.
But I think what you're going to see is like
True Name Nemesis. People... No one's playing. I don't think people are playing Legacy that much. I
agree.
I think a lot of people are playing Legacy, and I think what you're not thinking.
But they
about
already
is like
have their land taxes,
right? That's the thing. Is like the people who want to play land tax and Commander already own those land taxes. Like nobody's really rushing out to buy them.
Whereas in True Name,
it's a $40 card. I think people are priced out of land tax.
People are holding off on buying land tax because it was $40.
Yeah,
I guess, but I think that is like so recent. I feel like anyone who didn't have their land tax already, like, is either a brand new player.
But Ryan,
you don't even have to be a brand new player to just not know that card existed.
Well, also, Ryan, think about it, man.
You should have a land tax.
You get a lot more influx into Commander every year than you do Legacy. So if we're comparing the two cards, that's basically all it comes down to. Land tax, if you assume that they both have basically equal Legacy thing, the people who play Legacy already have their land taxes. You're gonna have more new entrants into Commander and new Commander decks than you are Legacy.
Yeah, Legacy is a shrinking format. EDH is a growing format.
Or at the very least, the turnover.
Formats. I think that the EDH is growing faster, but I think Legacy is still growing.
Yeah, I'm not going to say Legacy is or isn't. I don't want. That's not an argument that really gets us anywhere. But I am saying that there's more turnover with new cards and or new players in Commander, and I would agree that $10 land taxes appeal to a lot more people.
I just think if we're talking about recovering faster, though, like, they both may hit a similar bottom, but land tax is going to, again, trickle out because, like, people will slowly buy them for their one of the EDH decks. It's not the way Commander player or like Legacy players work.
True.
Like, Legacy players are going to see True Name. If they don't own their place at a True Name, they're going to view this as their opportunity to buy them, and they're going to get them, which is going to immediately put
True
that
Name
pump
gets
back
played
in the
in decks that run 4 Underground Seas.
Exactly,
you can't afford $30 for True Name.
It's not that you can't afford it. It's that if you are a Legacy player, say you play Maverick or you play whatever deck it may be right now in Legacy, if you see True Name is at its bottom, Legacy players are now understanding that, like, when these new sets come out, you have to buy that card then.
Sure, if they pick up their... But, dude, it's been, like, True Name has been in Legacy for a long time now.
Agreed.
Like, there's no way people
have...
But a lot of
people
don't shift Legacy decks as quickly as they shift Commander decks. And it's the same thing as Commander, right? Like, anytime you see a new card like this come out that you know you're going to want, you'll buy that one of and, like, set it in your binder for play. Legacy players do the same thing. Just because they can't put together all of Stoneblade, they may not even have their Underground Seas yet, they will still buy the True Names when they're cheap just to have them.
Well, it'll be a good case study between the two of these, but my money's on
let's watch the
land
prices
tax.
diverge and see who was correct about this.
Yeah, I'm curious to see.
When Brainstorm Brewery is approaching episode 500, we'll listen to this clip and laugh.
All right, next up is $15 Bramble Sovereign. Now we have a new card.
I like this card.
Hold up.
I saw it was 15, and I was really surprised.
It's a 4/4 for 4 that says when another non-token creature enters the battlefield, you can pay 1 in a green. If you do, that creature's controller creates a copy. I mean, this card's good, but I also think this card's like $5.
Yep, same.
I think this card is should be exactly 25% of what a doubling season is in value, like at all times. Like if
and
doubling
this is for coming from a
30,
guy who runs a Trostani deck and like could use populating stuff that like Acidic Slime and Eternal Witness that doesn't necessarily have a token.
Right. No, and I like
so if
this
a
card
Trostani player doesn't like this card.
No, I do like this card. I like it a lot. I just think
I like it too, but I mean I don't like it at 15.
But yeah, exactly. I think it's like if doubling season is $30 in the set, this should be $7.50 to $8. If when doubling season is $50, I think this will be a $12 card again.
Sure. I think it's $5, but regardless, it's not one of the ones we're more hyped on long term here. Next up,
I don't know why it's this much, frankly.
Next up, TCG Players exclusive preview. Nagila, the Blade Blossom. So this one has some people hyped. 3/2 for 3. Whenever a warrior attacks, its controller can create a 1/1 white warrior. Controller. Right. You may have them create a token that's attacking. Wooburg, untap all attacking creatures. They gain trample, haste, and lifelink. After this phase, you get additional combat. So this thing's like Combat City, or Combo City here, with like Cryptolith, right?
Combo combat.
Yeah. This card's cool. It's just
combo.
Everything Red ever always did, but it's just another card in the infinite.
I mean, this is barely Red, right? This set's Joda, and it's better than Joda because Joda, your deck is sort of useless if Joda's dead, whereas it's another General Tazri, right? Yeah. Only I think you got better warriors than allies, personally. That's what I think.
I mean, this card is and it can do different stuff, which is something that's going for it. All that said, I mean, I don't think it's $12. Again, I think this card's probably like $5.
Yeah, this is $4 or $5.
Yeah. This might not even be $5, honestly, at the end of the day. Like, it depends on how much value is allocated to the top.
The value's got to go somewhere. Is it all going to be in doubling season? Like,
it's not going to be in this.
Name, land tax. Like, the first handful of cards we named is where all your real value is going to go.
I kind of think that this card goes... I kind of think that this card has downward trajectory and the card beneath it might have upward trajectory.
I like this next one. Spellseeker. This is a $12 card right now. It's 2 and a blue. It's a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for its inner sorcery with converted mana cost 2 or less. Reveal it, put it in your hand. So this card, I think, has a lot of, at least, upside potential. It's only a rare. But not only is this just, it goes and gets Cyclonic Rift in every commander deck that's ever been made. Okay.
Or Dramatic Reversal.
Yeah, it's a wizard. It can go get Mana Drain in Vintage or whatever, right? It can go get counters. It can go get all these stupid busted things. But I think just the fact that it goes, but just the fact that it goes and gets Cyclonic Rift in Commander means that automatically I'm in on this card.
Ban Cyclonic Rift.
This is Momentary Blink and this are like best friends. I love this card.
I don't know.
It goes and gets Momentary Blink.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't know that this card is worthy of $12 price tag at rare for now, but this is actually one of the cards that I am considering one of the better long-term holds from the set, because this thing, it's just going to go in every commander deck with Cyclonic Rift ever made. Like, it's just stupid.
Isn't Snapcaster worth more than every Mythic in Innistrad except for Liliana? Like,
yeah.
So, like, it's only non-Mythic. I don't know, man. If something
that matters more in the long term than the short term, though.
Yeah. Because it took 5 years for that to happen.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's also a format staple everywhere.
I think
this is still in the
like
commander, right?
5 or 6, but I think you start picking them up when it is 5 or 6.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is one of those you want a big pile of. That said, they could put this in a commander set in the future.
Yeah.
It certainly kind of hits that level.
It has a lot more reprint risk than some other stuff.
I mean,
but this card is straight broken.
This could even be in standard, realistically. Like, this card isn't busted.
This card would be... I think it's pretty busted, but I'm looking at it in terms of... I honestly think this is one of those weird cards, like there are in a bunch of sets, it makes its way into Vintage. Like, it goes and gets whatever combo thing in Vintage or
Legacy.
It's about time a good card made its way into Vintage.
You have to
Okay,
use
man,
this effect
Slash
multiple
Panther was
times.
played in Vintage, and you're going to tell me this isn't Vintage playable?
Slash Panther was played because Mud didn't have an answer to Jace.
I'm aware of that.
That was such a niche thing. This is not
aware
that
of
kind
that.
of card.
This card, it's just a tutor, man, and it's a tutor in the best color in Magic, and it's a tutor for the most broken cards in Magic.
I mean, I agree, but it's still not. No, it's not a Vintage or Legacy card. Like, I will be very impressed if this card.
You're going to go on record and say that this is not a Legacy.
I'll go on
record and say
Same.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vintage, I don't know. The weird stuff that breaks into Vintage usually has a body. This this gets weird stuff in Vintage, but it doesn't get anything.
I'm pretty confident
super
this gets
impactful.
played in Legacy at some point.
This doesn't tutor for anything in Vintage that all your other stuff didn't already tutor for.
If this was 3 or less and this got me Yogg-Will, I would agree with you. Like that's
3 or less. This card be pretty insane.
That's where my line is. Like, because it's 2, there's not sure.
Regardless,
as far as EDH goes, this gets you Sight Grift, it gets you Dramatic Reversal, it gets you all your tutors, it gets you a lot of your counter spells. Like,
don't buy this.
Get you Mana Drain. Yep, get them at 5 and get them all. All right, next up we hit the Planeswalker, I guess. Anyone care about these Planeswalkers? Are they good?
Nah,
man,
I really
$5
I think their
pass.
ultimates are good, but I don't think they're that good.
Both
and
the
they
blue
look
and
like
the red
Lannisters, and that
both of
freaks
them are
me
going to be
out.
$5 pass.
I agree. All right, here's one we do like, right? Seaborn Muse, $11 pre-sale price.
I think this goes down.
This goes down, and then you pick all of them.
Then
up.
it goes up hard.
Yeah,
I don't know how hard it goes up. Like, here's the thing: I think that that its spike was predicated on scarcity. And if you look at something like Awakening that people also bought in the wake of the Prophet of Crufix banning, I don't think Seedborn Muse is as good as people pretend it is.
Awakening went up and then back down. Like Seedborn Muse,
that's exactly what I'm going to say
its
here.
price. Like the price that it spiked to was correct.
Jason, go look at the graphs. Like Awakening spiked and went down, and Seedborn Muse spiked and stayed there.
Because Seedborn Muse is in 12,000 decks on EDH Rec, so that's pretty strong.
Yeah, Seaborn Muse, man, card's great.
That card was underpriced for years.
Maybe when Prophet of Crufix sort of outclassed it for sure because it did so many different.
But all that led, it's one of those things we talk about where people discover a new card. They got Prophet because it was new and they played it. When Prophet got banned, they were like, "Oh crap! I've never heard of Seaborn Muse, but it's basically the same thing." And then everyone just bought it and it stayed there. And the price has even been climbing. Like it went through its buyout. And then it went higher. So, I want $5 Seaborn Muses like nobody's business. But I'm happy with $7 or $8 Seaborn Muses, honestly.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yep. I mean, the thing this has over Murkfiend Liege is you can play it in decks like Omnath.
Yeah.
You don't need blue.
This follows the same exact...
Omnath, Mayel, Ys and the Wandering Bard. A lot of decks that don't have access to blue want to run this. So I don't know. I'm not as bullish on this as you guys are, certainly. But I think if this gets to $5, I think it's a no-brainer.
Trajectory of Phyrexian Arena, I'm calling it. Phyrexian Arena was like an $8-10 card. It went down to $3, and now it's back up to $8.
Okay.
Yeah, and we called that, didn't we? When it was 8, we were like, this will tank and go right back up.
Here's one next up. I'm actually not as excited about. And you know what? We could probably hit both of these at the same time. Diabolic Intent and Nirkana Revenant. Both of them were $20-ish cards before this reprint, and they're pre-selling at $9. And I actually
was higher than that, right?
It was like $21. I looked at it. It was $21 or $22. And my thing is, Nirkana Revenant had been that price for 2 years. I actually don't think that this is going to recover as hard as people think. It was in Rise of the Eldrazi, which is an old set. It was a third set.
Wasn't that
it was drafted as a 3 of.
Yeah, it was World Wake.
Right? Nirkana Revenant?
I think so.
No, it was Rise.
It was Rise. It was Rise was.
It was the one that's like a star.
It's Rise.
Yes, it's Rise of the Eldrazi. I'm looking at it. The card, I think it was price is partially scarcity related on this and Diabolic Intent.
Yeah.
Because they're both just older cards, even they actually come from different eras of Magic, but they both shared the same thing. And what gave it away for me is I look at the price on Nirkana Revenant, and it's basically been within $1 or $2 for 2 years. Like it's just it that to me speaks to a card that is hard
Well, that's
to
because
find.
people
but
are
not
replacing it with
growing.
Cryptghast.
Well, you wait, hold
people
on. So,
are
Cryptghast is the perfect thing to compare it to because you look at it like this has essentially been printed in Mythic twice because of how old it is makes it a Mythic essentially in Rise at this point.
Well,
And
plus it was
it's
a Mythic and
here.
Rise.
Well,
It was a
no,
Mythic and Rise.
Right, but okay, sorry. Comparatively though to like Cryptghast, that same number of printers, right? Cryptghast is still only at 2, or does it have a third?
Cryptghast had a
Cryptghast
commander
is like
printing.
$5.
Right, but how many?
It had
how
a
many,
commander. It had a commander printing. A commander
Right.
2014 and Gatecrash. And it's at an
Cryptghast
all-time
is
high.
5. I thought it was like 2 or 3.
It's $4.
No.
Oh, geez. Okay.
$3.63.
So this will stay above Cryptghast in price, but I don't know by how much. It might only be $1.
It's in Cryptghast is in 4 times as many EDH rec decks.
Although, Jason, it is possible that is because it was cheaper. But
Yeah.
all of that
because,
said,
like Cryptghast numbers
It was
can
in
also
pre-
be
the
inflated because it
pre-con
was in a
effect.
pre-con.
Yeah.
all of that said, what I'm saying is both Diabolic Intent and Nirkana Revenant, I don't see, especially Nirkana Revenant, going back up to 20. I just don't. Like, I think the
I think
card's going to
Price
be...
is it's a lot predicated on scarcity.
Yeah,
It's going to be
absolutely.
6 to 7, and it'll climb to 10 again.
Yeah.
But it's just never going to be $20 again.
For sure.
Sure, I can maybe agree with that, but like Intent, they're not the same card at all. Though, like Intent is
Maybe
just gonna
not.
crash.
Maybe
Intent's
not.
going to crash.
Well,
Like
Intent's
Intent doesn't recover.
good in the decks that need that one sack outlets. It's basically a demonic tutor, but also a sack outlet, and in a like Marin or like a lot of Golgari decks, that's actually
But,
an upside,
right.
You
not
pass
a
on
downside.
it at 9, and then it's going to go to 6, and you still pass on it at 6.
And for what it's worth,
Yeah.
Diabolic Intent has gone up a lot recently. So,
I
I mean,
don't
you're
wanna
probably
pay
right.
more
They're
than-
not the same.
And that was people being like, "Hey, how could you reprint Diabolic Intent if it's not in an EDH deck, like
Well,
or
and
EDH pre-con?
part of the reason
it's
that-
not going to be in a regular booster pack set." And then this came along, and they're like, "No, we found a way." So I think a lot of Diabolic Intent was predicated on people thinking it was unreprintable.
And scarcity. That's what I'm saying. It was
and
from
scarcity,
freaking
yeah.
Plane Shift.
Plane Chase, yeah,
Plane
Plane
shift.
Shift.
Plane Shift, whatever.
I mean,
That's
the thing
so
about
old.
Intent is
The
doesn't
circle thing.
It has it's Plane Shift, and then it also has a masterpiece,
masterpiece.
right? So I think part of the reason we saw the spike is because people were buying the masterpiece because they were so cheap, and then
Right.
like the masterpiece went up, so of course the regular copy has to go up. Like it's just people wanted them to play with.
I'm just saying, I don't see this new one. I
It's
lumped
just
it
gonna
in
be
with
cheap.
Nirkana Revenant
It's-
because I just don't see
Remember
them
when we said we weren't
ever
going to
getting
spend
back
8
to their old
billion
price.
minutes on the first 10 cards?
Sure.
We're
We did.
well past
we
10,
did.
AJ.
That
We
was
did.
2 cards at once. We just did.
Yeah,
so.
but I mean, either way, I think it's a $3 card for a long time.
Yep.
Plus, we can
I
go
can agree with Ryan on
quickly
that.
through this next card.
All right, so I'm going to say 5 on Diabolic Intent, but either way, not long-term great.
Yeah.
All right, this card's stupid. Brightling,
Brightling.
no one cares. This card shouldn't be worth
Sweet
any money.
Morphling variant, but yeah.
Morphling
yeah.
variants
But
went out of style a decade ago, man.
I'm glad to
The
see
only
them complete
reason
the
they are
cycle,
played in
or work
EDH
towards
now-
completing it still.
It's 100% is Marisol and Experiment Kraj decks, and this can't go in either one of those.
Yeah, like
so the
Thornling.
Brightling will be played not at all in EDH. So what's going to prop up its
Thornling was the last
Nothing.
relevant Morphling variant. It was in Conflux. It was a mythic, and it's under $2. Yeah,
We've
this card
already
is
spent
dumb.
enough time on that card.
Yeah. All right. I don't know
Pronounce
what
it,
this card
Corbin.
is.
Zinder Split.
Zindersplit.
This card's awesome, but it is not like
I'm gonna read this for the first time. Something partner. Flip a stupid coin. Oh God.
this one's really sweet. Actually, like I like this card.
Because I don't really care about this card's price. I care what it did to the
Yep.
Clark's Thumb and Goblin Bomb and Frenetic Efreet and all that stuff.
This
So what's
card's
next?
overpriced,
But
but still very
unfortunately,
cool.
all that happened within a day of this card being spoiled, so
Yeah.
I didn't have time to tell everybody about what to buy.
So what's next after those? Is there anything else in that vein that's worth talking about?
Greater Good. You want to talk about that, right, Jason? No.
Greater Good was my pick of the week, actually.
Well, Jason, no, just real quick while we're on the subject though, is there anything
Oh.
else in terms of coin flip cards that people should have an eye
Nah,
on?
people bought everything. They bought
Okay.
all the way down to like Goblin Bomb. They
Yeah,
bought
it's-
shitty cards.
yeah,
like
okay.
maybe they missed Frenetic Sliver.
That one doesn't
know.
work because the card's not in play when the rest of the abilities resolve.
Okay, whatever. Stupid. Next up, Greater Good.
This
Yeah,
this
man.
one's a really solid pick. Like this goes to 3 or 4, and then you start picking them up just like Phyrexian Arena.
This card is
Yeah,
great.
this card's insane, and it was priced out of a lot of decks just because it was just like a lot of money.
It was like
for a
15,
while.
20 bucks. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just sort of like it was like one of those asceticism type cards.
Another
like,
card
it
that-
had a lot of. No, go ahead. Like like I think Greater Good is just it goes to 3 or 4, and then you just fill a big old bag with them.
What I will say about Greater Good is the price was incredibly stagnant for a long time. It jumped in 2016. was still stagnant, jumped again in 2018. So I agree that it's going to get cheap and we want them. I don't know. Like, when I look at a graph and I see a card being stagnant for multiple years at a time, what that tells me is it's not going to just throw off a reprint. Doesn't mean the price isn't going to climb again, but you look at Cyclonic Rift, for instance, right? That's sort of our gold standard. It gets reprinted, the price dips, and it starts right back up. If something is, you never see a stagnant price on that card. It's either dipping because of a reprint or going up through natural demand. If I see a card be stagnant for a year, I'm less inclined to think it's going to go back up later. Like I do.
Well, you know what? Those spikes were both.
Greater Good went from 8 to it went from 8 to slowly to 9, slowly to 10, and then it's
no. It did that in the course of 2 months, man. Like, I'm looking at the graph for it.
They were predicated on the printing of Omnath, Locust of Rage.
The card
and the the printing of Selvala, Heart of the Wilds. That's why they spiked at those points. Yeah.
I look. I'm not saying it didn't. I'm saying that it was then. Look, it. I'm looking at the graph right now. Okay?
So am I.
Right. Okay. So we can see the jump around Oath of the Gatewatch, right?
Yep.
Which was for whatever card, and then it stayed at that price for a year and a half. Cyclonic Rift, for instance, using our gold standard of cards that shrug off reprints, would never look like that. It would always be climbing or falling. And then, yes, Greater Good jumped again. So I'm not saying it's not a card that you want to have and you want to get in and it isn't going to go up later. I'm saying that you can't necessarily expect as much from it as you can maybe something like Doubling Season, which is always going to be on an uphill.
I'm not saying you expect as much out of it as
I know.
More people.
It's not telling us for your benefit, DJ. This is for.
I think more
listeners.
people will try this at $3 because it's a very good card. But with it being as expensive as it was, only really specific decks would make this go up.
Yeah.
Like Selvala and Omnath and stuff like that. Those were events. Those were reasons to go out and buy it.
Right.
You know, you got something like Titania or Omnath or something that's making these 5 power tokens, and when they die, why don't you just basically brainstorm?
Right. So the thing is, the card is going to get cheap, and then it's going to basically probably chill, and then something will happen to make it go up. But it's not just going to just appreciate the way a Cyclonic Rift or Devil.
But I don't know, because I think people were priced out at 15, but they're going to take a second look at it.
That could be true.
This is going to climb back up to 5. This is going to go back down to 3, and then it will climb up to 7 by itself.
Okay, that seems reasonable.
And then I think it will take an event to make it go sharply up. But I think it's definitely worth buying these for 3 on getting a good double.
Definitely. Okay, next up, do we care about Arcane Artisan?
No.
I think it's a blue Elvish Piper. I kind of don't know what to think about this card.
That borderline, like, you want it to be played in Legacy, it won't be, but, like, man, it's a sweet card.
It's a sweet card.
I don't think it actually does anything. I think it's less likely that it does anything than the Rector, but there's always that chance.
It's probably like $3 to $5 because it's mythic, but that's it.
Yep.
Right, and it's one of those, like, if somebody ever happens to top 8 with it, watch it.
This isn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I mean, but you can put an Emrakul into play with this
pretty
easily.
Put Eldrazi and shit into play.
Yeah,
Blue-green is the most popular combination in Commander, so, I mean, it's reasonable for this to be paired with giant monsters, for sure.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, who knows? It's kind of a big question mark for me. I don't think immediately it goes up by any means. I think it's 3 to 4 to start, but things can certainly happen to make this a real card.
All right, how do you guys feel about
like pairing it with Doubling Season?
Confluence is overpriced.
Mystic Confluence is $7.
$2.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, that card.
$2.
This card dies. Yep.
It's never gotten a print like this.
It was
before.
only in the one friggin' C15 deck.
It was.
And
it also
like,
had a Judge promo.
The Judge promo is cheap. Which means
look at Magus of the Wheel.
Yeah, this is dead. It's a $2 card, maybe $3.
Okay.
Vigor, I think is. It's going to do the same thing. It's going to be like $3 because it's only specific decks want it. But I think this has a much better long-term trajectory than something like Confluence.
I think this card, people romanticize the past. People think this gets played in EDH more than it does because how it did 5 years ago. This was one of those cards that was like, oh, this is $13 because EDH, but that was like 6 years ago.
This is still a really, really good casual card. This is like good for 60 card Timminess. Like that, Timmy just reads this card and just loves it.
And Timmy's no longer priced out of this card, which is why it has good long-term trajectory.
Jason's
it will
right.
Start selling at $3 to $4.
This is going to creep up over time for sure.
Jason is an interesting point. Is Vigor is actually cheaper now, even pre this spoiler, than it was in 2014.
Yeah, because it was only from friggin' Lorwyn, and it was also the stupid thing with the M, M set symbol.
That was a Garrick versus Liliana dual deck.
Oh, it was the Duels of the Planeswalkers or whatever, the promo.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's cheaper now than it was then. That does not.
Yeah.
This card is never going to be expensive again, but it will be. It'll be fine, but it's never going to be. It's never going to rebound.
No, of course
to
not.
where it was. So, yeah. All right.
So like, I actually, you see this, you're like, oh shoot, an EDH card that is finally getting reprinted. This seems like a slam dunk, but actually, if you look, the demand profile is lower than you'd think. It's fewer than 5,000 decks on EDH.
It's not because of EDH. It's because of Timmy Land.
I mean, sure,
this
maybe.
is 100% a slam dunk pick, just because Timmy reads this and just like loves it.
At what price, TJ?
If it goes to like $2 or $3,
yeah, you pick this at $3 and then it goes back to $7, like over the course of a year.
I don't know that this goes back to $7.
I don't think this goes back to $7 either. I think it's $5, but
I don't think 60 card casual can do that with like no support from EDH. I think you need both.
All right, next up, this is a card DJ hates. I don't know how we feel about it. Stunning Reversal, kind of a new effect, a different kind of effect. 4-mana instant black card. It's $7. If you would lose the game, instead draw 7 cards and your life total becomes 1. Is that what it is?
Nobody's gonna let you like survive the table after you cast this, ever.
The only way this is basically Jason compared.
But what if everyone's gonna lose?
Yeah, that's the thing is. I think this is probably most likely. The best case scenario is that you play it when someone goes to like Kiki Jiki combo you out of the game. So that implies
the other 2 players die, you
Right.
win, they're tapped out, and then you get
but the thing
to
is,
draw 7 cards to try to combo back up.
you still have to. I mean, yeah, you're gonna be at 1 life. That's the issue, right? Like those 7 cards need to both completely take over the game and stop your opponent who just Kiki comboed you from doing 1 point of damage.
Yeah.
So I don't think this card is $7, but DJ I think called it a bulk mythic, and I disagree with that. People like
not a
black
mythic.
to
It's probably like a
Fairy's
$2 or $3 mythic.
Yeah,
but,
people like you don't lose the game cards.
And I mean, there's also plausibility of at least sideboard play and combo decks and Legacy for certain matchups. I've considered it as a one of in my deck. It's got some application.
I did like the list that a friend of mine came up with, where this is like he made a mono black Inquisition Legacy deck list that I thought was cool. I don't think it was good, but it was just like a theory crafting of. But
all right, do you guys care about Grothama, All Devouring?
No.
Some stupid worm. What other creatures have when it attacks? You may have it fight.
$2 or $3.
Don't even
next.
read it. It makes my head hurt.
$2 or $3
when it leaves the
next.
battlefield. Okay, yeah.
No, it sucks.
Yeah,
Who cares?
okay. I'm not even going to read the rest of it.
Because we gotta talk about these next 5 cards. Oh, they're sexy.
These lands are so good. I love them.
So the question is, so the lands are rare. They're not duals, so they don't have that extra appeal. Obviously, they're going to go in like most EDH decks, if not all EDH decks. But I think we're getting oversaturated with good lands at this point, to the level where like a land to hold $6-7 like this, even though it's going to be played in most EDH decks, I don't think is enough anymore. I think they're $3 lands, maybe even $2 lands. Well,
I think that they're going to.
Look, like we've seen standard duels that are good. Like Scrylands are great, right? And they were played in standard, and even in their heightened standard, and like the EDH effect really didn't keep them from dying. And I don't think it can keep these from dying either.
I don't know, man. This is a set.
I think long
term
they're great, but I think immediately they're $2.
I think these go one of either 2 ways. I think either Wizards decides these are the perfect intro lands and they put them in every commander deck from here until the end of time, and they get crushed because Wizards wants people to have these lands, or they just creep back up because, I mean, yeah, they go in like every EDH deck. People still, and there's a lot.
Port Town.
People can have perfect mana if they play fetch lands and shock lands. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, so I won't rehash too much. But these are going to be the perfect $5 to $10 budget option for mana fixing for people who don't want to, who cannot afford or whatever shock lands and fetch land mana bases, but they don't want to play Kazandu Refuge.
Dude, Port Town is $1. Port Town says, when it enters the battlefield to reveal a plains or island, if you don't, it comes into the battlefield tapped. So if you're playing blue-white, you probably play this untapped in EDH, right? Port Town's $1 because,
I mean, there's a big difference between a clause and a not clause, though. I think, but
these are like $3.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like them in there. I'm gonna play them, but I think these will be cheap.
Okay.
I don't want to pay 6 for any of these.
All right. Next up, do we care about Okan, the Eye of Chaos?
Nope.
No,
I really think that
the other one.
Well, you play them both probably, but it doesn't matter because they already did their job, which was to affect all those other cards.
Yeah.
So I don't think the price of these matters.
Right.
I don't think it's going to go above. You're not going to be like, shit, I should have bought it 5
Nope.
ever.
All right. So next up, Core Spirit Dancer with its first meaningful reprint in a while, but I think it's
Dead
probably just going to kill the
forever.
card.
Yeah, this card's dead
Yep.
forever.
It was $8. God, at one point this card was like 15.
Yeah, it's
Now
dead forever.
it's going to be
Next-
like
next
$3
card.
forever.
Sower's dead
Sower.
forever.
So you think Sower's dead forever?
Sower's not dead forever, but it's not in good shape. It's $2. It's gonna follow that like slightly above bulk. It'll be on buy list for $1.
Oh yeah,
for a
I'm
long
not
time.
saying it turns into a bulk rare, but it's dead.
It's not
from
going to
what
be
it was
$11.
before. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So it's over $10 right now. So, and this one even has the same
it's in
art.
way fewer EDH decks than you'd think, but I think it should be in more. If you're going to play Control Magic, why wouldn't you play this?
Talk about
instead?
another card. This is again a Lorwyn card that was once $30 almost, and now it's just died at $10. So,
Well, that was Legacy, that was that was
so yeah.
the
This
fairy
thing's
decks and shit, yeah.
going to be $3-4 forever, if not.
So
lower.
now everything we talk about is worth less than a booster pack.
That's true. Spell Snare. Remand is
Well,
actually.
Toothy, I think
Sure.
Toothy and Pier are boring as shit.
I don't. I just
think
don't
they're
care
like
about
a
these
good.
cards.
It's a good Simic deck, but it's like your commanders are Lore Scale, Coatl, and Hardened Scales. Like, is that who you want your generals to be?
I just
don't
think
know.
these are going to die.
I mean, they're gonna
Yeah.
die just because like now you're talking about niche commander decks that like you're gonna
this
play
is
both
dead.
of them.
This is not a thing.
But Simic already does shit like this. It's nothing new.
Exactly.
Like Boros didn't get anything new either. I really wish
It's
they
just
tried a little harder.
New general to
Just-
do the exact same deck. Like you're playing like 90 of the same 100.
Yeah, it's
I
just
feel
junk.
like that
They're
already
junk.
exists.
They're done.
So one I feel like may recover a little bit is Tidespot Tyrant. I feel like that card was another one of those like, oh, I want to put it in my Commander Dirtily deck, but it's like $10 and I don't really want to pay for it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to recover nicely. I think honestly the price it's at now is probably fine, $2 to $3, but I don't see that dying like a lot of these other cards. There was one other card I want to talk about.
Well, this is the first Spell Snare reprint since Modern Masters, and the price had not exactly gone wild in that time. So I'm actually surprised it's even pre-selling at $350. I bet it just holds $3.
Sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, the last card I want to talk about, and I don't like the price now, but I think this card absolutely hits bulk, is a bonus round. It is the until end of turn.
Bonus round is nuts, man.
But okay, so it's nuts in Commander, but that's not going to hold this price. Like there's still
No, I don't think it's nuts. I don't think Commander necessarily. I kind of look at this. I'm like,
there's a legacy combo deck here.
yeah, because if you can double your dark rituals and shit like that, it's nuts.
Well, I think it actually lets you get away from black because of this card. I think the first time you get to go like X into Seething Song in after you've done this, like there's a deck
This makes
here.
Rite of Flame a lot better.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the deck
Manamorphose.
is yet, but like this was a piece that deck was missing, and it may not even be done yet. Like I'm not saying that you're gonna like buy these or get these in bulk and you're gonna like move them next year. This could be 5 years down the road, but like eventually this card's gonna crop up somewhere.
Why does it make Rite of Flame better, DJ?
I mean, like you just get to play like Rite of Flame, and then it makes Dark Ritual mana, whereas before you couldn't play a 1 mana. Get through like
Okay, I understand.
it's in the
You're
same
gonna-
color.
okay.
Like it's just you want to play Rite of Flame over Dark Ritual or like
I gotcha.
what's the other one?
Okay, I was just making sure because it doesn't actually.
I'm not saying you get both of the.
Yeah, what I'm saying is you don't get any bonus out of it because the.
No,
the
I
the
understand that the
original-
right doesn't
yeah.
hit the graveyard until the
Right. That's just what I wanted to verify for people. Sure. I'm gonna be honest. I don't. We're talking about. I mean, maybe this becomes a thing in a legacy deck.
But even then,
maybe
it's not going to spike super
Yeah,
hard. It's
this
just
card is just not going anywhere.
Yeah, and I don't really
Foils, maybe, whatever.
I
Honestly, I don't care
see
about
anything else in the set
Yeah.
that I'm that
I
excited about. I'm like flying through
Together
here.
Forever.
what does that do, Jason.
Together Forever says when it enters the battlefield, support 2, so you put a 1/1 counter on up to 2 target creatures. But it says pay a mana, choose target creature with any counter on it. When that creature dies this turn, return that card to its owner's hand. I think that's cool. I really like this effect. I don't know if it's going to go above $2. I don't think you pre-order it, but I think this is
I mean, it's
more
it's
playable
something to
than
keep
the
an
bulk
eye
rare.
on for in the future if they print another white commander or white crazy creature in commander that does some sort of silly thing with like divinity counters or like whatever type of count. I don't know. It's something to keep an eye on.
You don't get wiped out by Hepatra and stuff like this. Like there's a lot to like about this card. I think I don't know. I see this effect and I want to play with it.
All right. So is there anything else you guys want to? It's from the rest of the cards. I mean, at this point, we're just talking about a lot of cards that are $2 and may say $2, maybe bulk, whatever. Is there anything from them you actually like?
I like Stolen Strategy, but I think it'll hit bulk.
Okay. What does Stolen Strategy do? Which one is that?
That's the one DJ doesn't like because
what does it do?
It reminds him too much of Mind's Eye, I think. It's a 5-mana red enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you exile the top card of each opponent's library. Till the end of the turn, you may cast non-land cards from among those exiled cards. And you may spend mana as though there were any mana of any color to cast those spells. So I really like stealing their mana rocks and taking some of their removal and stuff like that.
I would agree this goes to bulk. This goes in like the Chaos Red strategies, but it's a 5-mana enchantment. It doesn't do anything until you untap with it.
I don't know, man. This reminds me of Mind's Dilation more than it does like
Mind's Dilation
World
lets
at
you
War
play
into the Eye
free
of Chaos
stuff,
or something
though.
like that.
Free stuff.
Yeah, you have to pay mana for...
You
Also,
can take their rocks, though. I like that.
Also, Mind's Dilation triggers as soon as like you play it. You know, your opponent takes their turn and does something immediately.
Yeah.
This you have to untap with this, right?
Like
yeah,
that
I
and
agree,
Lurking
it's
Predators,
bulk.
you just always get free
Yeah,
value.
Lurking
This you have
Predators is
to
OP.
consistently invest mana into every turn if you want to get...
But that's stuff out of your deck. Getting stuff out of their deck's better because it's their stuff.
Sure, this card's still bulk.
All right, I found a card that I like that's like slightly above, or should be slightly above bulk.
Okay.
Xandersplint's Judgment.
What's it do?
It's for...
This whole cycle is pretty fun.
So Xandersplint's Judgment. It is 4 and a blue sorcery. For each player, choose friend or foe. Each friend creates a token that's a copy of a creature they control. Each foe returns a creature they control to their owner's hand. And I don't think this is going to be great or anything, but it's just one of those cards where I think a lot of decks will want to play this. You know, clone variants are already a popular thing. This creates a copy, and not just a copy, but a token, which is also relevant. So any of your doubling season effects, you know, now you're getting 2 of them. But also just, it's an interesting take on the clone effect. You can kind of gain some allies while still also giving yourself a boon.
I will really never ever give my opponent a copy of one of their creatures.
I don't want to play this in... I don't even want to play this in Tema. Like, even choosing somebody as a foe, like, they'll bounce their Grey Merchant or whatever. And, like, they get to...
You get to selectively pick. And again, I think that, like, you being the ally is... You can be a little more decisive in, like, who you're choosing based on...
Wait, is the foe effect you get to unsummon their creature, or they get to unsummon their creature?
No,
they get to.
It's...
Yeah,
they return a creature they
like
control,
that.
so they get to pick.
I don't know.
I like the friend or
the
foe
cards.
stuff in general, but I don't
They'll
like
just bounce their 1/1 token or whatever.
I think they're all sort of...
I think it's less about the bounce and more about the, like, creating a token part and allowing other people... I don't know. I think there's something there.
I'm not
maybe
playing
I'm wrong.
Tema.
I'm not.
I mean, sure, it's a
power.
powerful effect for sure.
I just think
I
clones
kinda
are
like,
something you should never ignore.
I kind of like Thrilling Encore, but I think it's having to keep 5 mana up and rely on somebody else to wrap the board sucks.
I'm not putting Thrilling Encore.
Because you look at this, I'm like, man, I would just rather play Rise of the Dark Realms. I wish they had made this card a little bit better.
Thrilling Encore is the card that, like, it's way too good at 4, but it's not good enough at 5.
It's so hard to keep up 5 mana and just like wait for the board.
But it's like I'll put it into Gonti when I'm like purposely depowering the deck down to play against more casual groups, but it's not making it into the optimized list, I guess you'd say.
And I think it needs to be an above 10,000. Anything in this set needs to be an above 10,000 decks on EDH Rec in the next year to really be something you're like, I want to buy into this. So
I think Thrilling Encore is okay. Like, I'm really on the fence about it, but I think it works a lot better in decks that have a way to sacrifice their own creatures if you're building around it to the point where it's just, like, living death on yourself. Because it is just, like, it does bring back your guys, so you can be like, Ashnod's Altar, my, what's it called? My Abhorrent Overlord, my Grey Merchant, and my Nirkana Revenant or whatever, scoop them up, bring them back, do stuff. So, like, it's almost good enough, I think. And it's something to keep an eye on, but I'm not putting it in my... I'll test it. I don't know. I'm on the fence about it, but it's not like insta-slamming.
I just don't like having to keep 5 mana up as Wrath Protection
agreed.
in a black deck. I don't like that.
Ideally, you just don't care about casting it.
I'm with Ryan on bonus round, though. I like that card. Pick of the week. Pick of the week. Pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
All right, so for pick of the week this week, Battle Bond theme here. What card? Now, we're assuming, of course, that we're waiting for all these cards to hit their bottom, which we assume they're going to do probably about a month from now, right? Then we'll hit the core set, and people will start beginning hyped for Revenant in the fall, blah, blah, blah. But let's say a month from now, whether it's 2 weeks, a month, 2 months from now, whatever. Whenever these cards hit their lows, which card is your pick of the week for the most likely to rebound or kind of grow from that bottom a year from now?
DJ, what did you put on?
You said you wanted Sower of Temptation, but
I thought I wanted Greater Good.
You can have Greater Good because I'm going to change mine.
Okay. So Jason's in for Greater Good. DJ, what are you in for here?
Seaborn Muse.
Okay, Seaborn Muse. Ryan?
Doubling season. Come on.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so I'm going to go a little more out on a limb here, and I'm going to take the best-selling cards in the set. The lands.
He's sorted by best-selling.
He just learned how to do that
I did. That's true.
Hour.
For what it's worth, the lands are the best-selling cards in the set. 1, 2, 3, 4. All 5 of them are the 5 best-selling cards. After that is Seaborn Muse. After that is Spellseeker. After that is Nagila. And after that, it's probably less relevant. But I'm going to go on a limb. I know you guys didn't seem as excited about the lands, but I don't think that the temples or port towns were the best-selling cards in their sets. So I'm gonna say the lands are going to bottom out at 2 or 3, and then they're going to be 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 a year from now, and it's going to be a double up from the low. Or I'm going to get completely blown out when they're in the Commander 2018.
I don't think they're going to blow their load on them in the 2018 decks. I do think you're safe from that, but I also don't think that I don't think
that's why they're not going to be expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that's completely fair. I'm gonna try this best-selling thing and see if it works, because I think that they might think it might work out. But there you go. All right, there you go, everybody. That is a Battle Bond themed episode of Brainstorm Brewery. 4 people in here with Ryan. What do you guys want to shout out before we get out of here this week?
Shout out to everyone over the past 2 years who's still kept it cool with the podcast and come by the booth and said hello and stuff.
Remembers that Ryan exists.
Yeah, I still enjoy the when I see somebody with a hoodie and I say hey to them and talk to them about the podcast and they have no idea who I am. That's always cool too.
That makes me feel good too, because it means we get new listeners.
Yeah, no, it's nice to know that we have new fans coming in. There's no animosity there at all. They're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't recognize you. It's why would you? I'm not a relevant member. I'm not offended at all. I think it's really cool that we are still getting new people in. So, thanks to all those people who have still, come by and remind me that this was a thing. I enjoyed being on.
Hey, if you're new enough not to remember Ryan, then you're new enough to go to patreon.com/Brainstorm Brewery.
I guess if there's anybody who doesn't know,
we just need $100 more dollars to get to the one chip challenge. That's 100 people giving us $1. That's super doable.
Ryan was on this podcast for 4 years. And fell asleep in about half the episodes he was on.
At least he was here while he was asleep, Corbin. You're never here.
What is that?
Yeah.
What is at least he was physically present at his computer? What good did that do us? What is that? It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
That's us pooping on you for never being on episodes.
You just got wrecked.
Every time you're not on an episode, our Patreon goes up.
I wasn't even going to defend myself, and instead here comes White Knight in here just to fucking do it for me. I appreciate that, DJ.
Oh man,
DJ's Ryan Jr. He's always tried to fill your niche.
He's always been like, "What's the stupidest cards I can talk about this week?" I'm in.
My pick of the week is a basic land.
Hey, Ryan,
Just
that's a pick that Ryan would love.
You know what goes well with basic lands, everybody? It's Savage Summoning.
Oh man, yeah, darn, call out my misses. You haven't had your own.
Nope.
Yeah.
We don't remember Corbin's misses.
It's because he doesn't make memorable
picks. He's wrong so much.
He's never on the cast to make misses. That's the
spoiler. Spoiler, it's Splinter Fright.
Yeah, that was pretty big.
That was before the cast even started.
It was
right.
No, I think it was episode
Avison
2
Restored.
or 3 or something.
Yeah, it was early on. That was about when we started, was it? No, we started before Innistrad.
That is around when we started, because I can remember when I bought those, and I remember I only lived in that house for a year, and it's the year we started podcasting. So
that's fair.
That was 6 years ago.
That's fair.
All right. So there you go, everybody. Ryan, thanks for coming back, man. I'm sure we'll see you more in the future. Everyone else, thank you for listening. Make sure to check out the Patreon because it would be pretty funny to watch DJ die eating a chip. We'll see you next week.
And hey, we'll do giveaways if we get to a certain number of likes on YouTube and Facebook. That cost you $0. So go ahead and just like and support those. Support us for free and enter to win our giveaways that we're definitely going to do. We definitely. Well,
I already said I'm going to announce the winner of one of
week.
them next week for the YouTube.
Yeah,
so.
next week when we announce the winner, you'll be like, "Oh shit, they're serious."
Could have been me. Yeah. Last chance.
Could have been you. So.
All right, everyone.
There
See you next week.
Pew pew.